I'm going to be talking about An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. This is not a spoiler-free review, so if you haven't read the books yet, you don't want to get anything spoiled for you, stop watching now. So, I want to start right off the bat by talking about the ending, because oh my gosh. And at the end we discovered that she's in this huge building fire that collapses, and then we all kind of know that Andy knows she's alive. It's not like she died. This is definitely a story told from the future, and she wouldn't have been able to tell this part of the story if she wasn't alive. There's a lot of people who are like, oh, what a cop out, if you're just gonna kill off the character, don't leave us hanging, is she dead or is she alive? I'm just gonna help you all out right now. She's obviously alive. That's not trying to become some kind of cryptic thing. I think we're supposed to understand that she's alive because, she wrote this book. I actually adore this book so much. I devoured it in a week. And I'm a pretty hardcore John Green fan. Read all of his books, quote them constantly, highlight them, defend him against the haters of his work. I do all the things. But this, I think, is my new favorite Green book. And I have to say Green book now because Hank writes books too. I don't know. Something about this just stuck with me more than any of John's books have. I like the style, I like the story, I like the fact that, it's just one thing happening right after the other. I really enjoy that. But yeah, so let's start from the very beginning here. The book starts, look, I am aware that you're here for an epic tale of intrigue and mystery and adventure and near death and actual death. But in order to get to that, you're going to have to deal with the fact that I, April May, in addition to being one of the most important things that has ever happened to the human race, am also a woman in her 20s who has made some mistakes. And this entire book is kind of just her in that same tone. She knows she's important to the human race, and there's a bit of a superiority complex that comes with that. I also really appreciate the fact that in this book that April is a lot. This one, she talks about how she believes that humans are good, and that reminded me a bit of Anne Frank. She's at the heart, even if she wasn't, she admits to it. The fact that she did it for her brand, not because that's what she was actually feeling. April's unapologetic. We hate her at times, we love her at others, and she has never tried to hide anything about it. She's you may hate me, and I hate myself a little bit too right now, and I feel that's so real. We can look back at our past mistakes and be wow, I was an ass, that kind of thing. And she does that a lot in this book, or Hank as April does it. I just keep thinking it's one of those things, if you say it enough, people will start to believe it. She talks about, she talks about the Carls arriving and stuff as if, we were all there. You've all seen the video, obviously. There's not a human being in the world who hasn't seen the video. But and we don't need to see it. The way the story is written, it's we are there. The Carls did come. We all saw those videos. She worked so hard to make herself this symbol and this image that when it came down to it, she didn't really listen to her friends because she thought, I know what's right here. The Carls aren't gonna hurt me. The Carls aren't gonna hurt me. And it ended up being a trap. And she didn't even listen to her friend, even though she saw the messages, the run, the get out of there. But she just wanted to be first. She wanted to be right, and she wanted to be first. I agree with, April and Frank. I think that at our essence, humans are good, but we can make some shitty decisions that, that can come back to haunt us. And I think that's what April's trying to get at through most of this book. I'm really curious when you guys all thought about it. And then you think, oh yeah, obviously I'd be like April, and I'd be with April the whole time, if Carls came. But when you really think about it, if the Carls did show up, if one day we woke up and there's a whole bunch of robot aliens just chilling on the sidewalk, would we be afraid? So before I had to take a very long pause to find the part of the book that I was looking for, because I was talking about what would we do if the Carls showed up? Would we be rallying behind the April person? The Carls are good, they don't mean to hurt us. Or would we be Peters? Would we be part of the Defenders movement, thinking that they're not here to help us, they're here to take us over? Peter makes an interesting point in the book, Peter Petrowicki. He said, where is it? Right here, okay. Here we go. Again, you have no idea. No one has any idea what their intent is, where they're from, what they want with us. But I can tell you that in the history of our planet, advanced civilizations meeting less advanced cultures doesn't usually end well for the less advanced people. No, that's not a tendency, it's a rule, a law. And like that sentence stuck with me because I'm like, is not wrong. Advanced people mate with less advanced people. It usually ends in some kind of war, some kind of suppression, taking over. And I mean, I kind of get where Peter's coming from. You know, it is correct to exercise caution. But his movement obviously got out of hand, and so did April's. You can tell she's kind of full of herself. That is the one thing about April that she's, shamelessly like put forward. She's like, I am full of myself. I made this brand, I created this lie, and if you bought it, then I did it. Yay for me. And I think that was like so ballsy for her to say. Like, even though she's a character, and I get it. She's so full of herself. Like, think about it. When it comes to her brother, we never learn the name of her brother's fiance. We know she has a brother and loving parents, and she even goes to her brother's wedding, and it takes like maybe a sentence of the book. And I think this really shows her how self-absorbed she is. Like, she doesn't even apologize for it. She just moves on with the story, and we don't hear anything about the wedding other than like, information came out about the Carls, and she was reading it while sitting on the toilet, kind of thing. Like, that's the only information we get on the wedding. And this is her brother and her future sister-in-law by the end of this. And that's all we hear about them. Like, her parents, especially by that part of the story, we're all caught up in like, oh, she's actually not that bad of a person. She's just trying to do the right thing. And then if you really look at it and you really think about it for more than a minute, like, she said nothing about her brother's wedding, really. Like, you got like, it was a good ceremony, I like my sister-in-law. That was it. That's all we got about it. There's no detailed description of it. She didn't talk about any interactions she had with her family or friends from back home. We hear nothing about her friends from back home. Like, as soon as she left, they like ceased to exist. And I think that's really interesting. So, I'm really interested to hear your opinions. Do you think April's selfish? Or do you think that, she's just, a human being who's just got a little caught up in the moment? By creating the April main character, she's forcing herself to be a better person. And I don't know if that's just me hoping too much, that maybe she ends up being a little bit more like self-conscious and thinking about others. Like, she talks about how like she's thinking about humanity and she's thinking with the Carls, but like she treats her friends like crap through this entire thing. She breaks with her girlfriend over almost nothing. She doesn't apologize, and her girlfriend like tells her like, I love you, and she knows she's not doing the right thing. She's like, and not respond, she's never said I love you before, and not responding felt like the biggest betrayal of all. And it's like and then like there's just one line like, I didn't respond. And I know this is all of her looking back. So it's like, does the self-absorption go away? Because friend of all time is Andy. Like, she never tries to sleep with him. She yells at him, but like she's been very good to Andy, and she thanks him for saving her life, and she thanks him for everything he did. And like she's like, I called you that night when I found Carl, because I wanted to give you something. I wanted to give you that internet fame that you wanted that viral video. And instead you gave it to me, and like we become a team, we become a partnership, and she tries so hard to make sure he's a part of it. And then at the very end, I think it just all gets away from her when she's like, when that fake message comes up, April, come alone, and like she just forgets the team that she has, like the supporters that she has, and she walked right into that trap because the defenders knew how self-absorbed she was. They knew she would come alone because of how much she thinks highly of herself. So I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars because I just felt it was so real. Like, I loved this character. She had that same sassy attitude that made me fall in love with the Maximum Ride series when I was a preteen, that made me read it over and over and over again. Like, I'm really excited to see a movie on this. Like, this is what I'm excited for. I really want to see, an Absolutely Remarkable Thing movie, and I'm sure it is going to happen because, like, that would be about the dumbest, PR decision in the history of the planet to not make a movie of this. Like, I'm ready for merch. I'm ready for movies. I'm ready for posters. Like, come on, bring it on. She also kind of, like, admits her fault. She admits that she's self-absorbed. And she also admits that she falls for people's crap all the time. She gets stuck in traps, online interviews, and then she keeps doing it. She keeps getting stuck in the same traps, and she lets it happen because, she wants, again, self-absorbed. She wants to be in front of the camera. She wants to be the voice that people hear. And like, God, I feel that, but at the same time, I'm like, stop! Like, if you just take a minute to think. But yeah, so what did you think of the book? I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I love it. I'm probably going to reread it at some point. I don't know when, but I definitely will. I loved it. So Let me know, what did you think of it? Are you excited for the next book? Do you think it's overhyped? Do you think the only reason we all love it is because it's Hank Green? I don't think so. I mean, I would love this if it was a pen name, probably. Like, I mean, this is such an original idea. It combines alien invasions, YouTube, society, like, I love it. Like, it's just great. Let me know. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you want to see more reviews like this that are, you know, not spoiler-free? I hate spoiler-free reviews sometimes, because I want to hear what other people think about some, like, the most controversial stuff about books. Let me know how you felt about the different parts of the book. Do you think you would be for or against the Carls? Do you think the Carls are good? We don't even actually really know yet. Like, all we know is that they wanted to observe us. So yeah, let me know. Like and subscribe, share, all that wonderful magical stuff. Thank you so much. I'm really enjoying this, and I hope I get to keep making more content and sharing it all with you. Spookathon is coming up next week. I'm super excited. My TBR is ready to go, and you'll be seeing a lot more videos from me around that week. So, yay!